Hello. Today is all about your child's temperament, and I do hope that at the end of today, you should be able to understand why your child's temperament matters. You should be able to know how to parent that particular child you have. You should be able to understand that your child's temperament plays a great role in everything your child does. Now, if you're a park parent, as usual, we'll continue the conversation in our private community. But if you're not a park parent, it's okay. Feel free to watch this video from the beginning to the end and leave your questions in the comment section. I'll always be there to take them. If you are seeing me for the first time, I tell you this is one of the finest parenting community you can join. We have loads of resources to empower you with parenting skills and help you grow in your parenting knowledge. Enime Orebo is my name, and I work with young school children, teaching them manners, etiquette, specialty education, leadership skills, and building healthy characters, and also consult for parents, coach, and mentor parents. And I have a community called Parenting Accountability Community, where parents with a vision come together, set their goals, and smash their goals. You want to see what we do there? You want to send me a message, and we'll tell you about what we do there and how you can be a member. Now, this class is actually one of the topics we have for this month, understanding our children's temperament. Now, last month, we had a topic on understanding your temperament as a parent and how it influences your parenting choices. So this month, we have understanding your child's temperament and how we can maximize this to help them reach their full potentials. You want to watch this video again from the beginning to the end. Feel free to ask your questions so that you can get clarity where you do not understand. Let's go right into it. What is temperament? It shouldn't be something new to you. However, I still like to give a little background. Now, temperaments are the unique traits, the behavioral patterns that come with a person when the person is born. There are patterns, there are traits that an individual possesses right from when they are born that actually grow with them, go with them into adulthood. We have some people, they are naturally persistent, and is a trait you can notice. If you are an observant parent, you will notice some children, and you have more than a child, you notice that one child is definitely more persistent than another. I'll give you a practical example. If you have toddlers or you have preteens or young children, you have one who comes to you and says, "Oh, mommy, I want something." And then you give a no. They may ask why not? And then they come back another time. They come back 3, 4, 5 times, until you either give in or you put your foot down. It has to be a no before they will stop. But you have some who you give a no and that is it. You have some who will not even ask. They will just assume that, mom is going to say no to this, so there's no point asking. You see that? So they were not taught, they didn't learn them. It's something that they were born with. And this persistence in some people grows with them into adulthood. Now, these traits are called temperament. We also have them in high energy levels. Some people are highly active. It is temperament traits. We have some people who are shy. They don't like to, they don't easily warm up. These are temperament traits that go with some people from small to adulthood. Now, when a child is born, he or she is 100% this temperament because nurturing has not taken effect. They've not learned anything from the parents, from the environment. They've not learned anything. So they are 100% temperament. However, as they begin to grow, as nurturing begins to take effect, they now become a mix of nature and nurture. That's temperament on how the child is being raised. By being raised, I mean every environment, every factor in the environment that actually influences the child. Now, one of the things parents do is that we have a template for parenting. Every parent has a template for parenting. And in our template, we do not realize that every child is not the same. That for every child, we need to tweak our template to meet that child's unique nature. So this is why from infancy, you see parents wanting to stop their highly active child from being active. You want them to sit down. You want to force some children who are very sensitive to the environment, to some environmental factors, let's say noise, let's say brightness, light, and all of that, parents want to force them. Now, there is always an issue. Most times parents clash because they are comparing one child with another, comparing the child you have with another child. So when it comes to parenting, every child is not the same. And by being different, it means temperament. Every child does not have the same behavioral traits. Every child did not come wired with the same set of strengths and weaknesses. There are some children who are wired with high level of energy, some who are calm, some who are sociable, some who are withdrawn, some who are persistent, some who are not persistent, some who are naturally assertive, some who are kind of bold, confrontational, and some who are docile. Now, these are different traits that are traceable to temperament. If as a parent you understand that one of the things about temperament is that you cannot change a person's temperament, it is impossible. However, you can help nurture that temperament in such a manner that it responds positively. It can be used positively. You can help them find a balance. You can help them create boundaries. You can help them understand the strengths and weaknesses in their temperament. So for very many parents, if you have children who have certain temperament, for example, who are strong-willed, and you try to box them because you have another child who is probably docile or compliant, let me use that word. You want to force your strong-willed child to be compliant or to be docile, you are going to always meet battles. You are always going to battle with your strong-willed child. However, getting cooperation from the strong-willed child, is it possible? Absolutely, it is possible. You have to use a different style because they have a different temperament. So you have to use a different style for your strong-willed child, and you have to use a different style for your child who is not so strong-willed. Now, a few things you need to know about your child's temperament. One is temperament impacts how your child behaves. Absolutely. How your child behaves is a product of his or her temperament. So you need to understand that. If your child is highly impulsive, if your child is highly active, if your child is reserved, they are all a product of your child's temperament. And another thing you need to know as a parent is that your reaction, your response, your perception is also influenced, is partly influenced by your temperament. You have learned, you have grown. So nurture would have taken its course on your perception, your style of living. However, your temperament is also an influence on your style of living and your perception generally. So the first thing I want you to know is that your child's temperament impacts your child behaviors. Your child choices and the way he or she behaves are primarily a product of his or her temperament. So the second thing I want you to know is that temperament influences how your child relates to the entire world, not just behaving now to you or to your family, how your child relates to the entire world, relates to people, how your child makes friends, go about their relationships. Temperament plays a very key role. Whether your child will easily warm up, your child will not easily warm up, whether your child will be very forgiving or your child will not be very forgiving, whether your child will want to continue in a relationship, the kind of relationship your child wants, maybe to lead a group, like leader follower relationship. Your child wants to be the leader, wants to be the follower. Your child's temperament has a key role to play. Now, this is why it's important for you to know your child's temperament, because it helps you easily understand why they do the things they do. Another thing you need to know is that your child's temperament influences how your child learns. You can't talk about your child's learning style without talking about your child's temperament. Now, I have a book, Understanding Your Child, which every parent should get. It talks about your child's temperament, learning style, love language, discipline, motivation, according to temperament. So your child's temperament actually influences how your child will learn. If you have a child who is highly active, like the sanguine child, for example, how they learn, it can be hands-on. And these people are moved by sight. So they are mostly visual learners. They are people who don't sit still. So they are mostly kinesthetic learners. You see, there are a lot of ways people learn. There are some children who are curious. There are some children who love who thrive in groups, for example, group learning. Those very sociable children, they thrive in group learning. There are some children who love sound, who love music, according to their temperament. They learn mostly by listening, auditory learners. Now, this is why you can see them in the classroom. Some children, they are scribbling as they are writing, and you think, oh, they are being distracted. You call them, they are not being distracted. They know exactly what you have said. In fact, they can repeat what you have said word for word. Why? Because they learn by listening. Just by listening to you, they are learning what you are saying. There are some children, they are making noise, they are talking. If you're a teacher, you want to say, aha, this is true. They are talking, and you call them, what was the last thing I said? The child will tell you the last thing they said. That's because they learn by hearing. Well, there are some children, they are talking, you ask them, they don't remember. Most of those children, they are children who learn differently. So I think this month we have another topic on how your child learning style. I'm going to go into learning style, not just the regular learning style. No, the learning style that is broken down to understand how the child learns, and you can relate. You can actually take it as a practical tool to use. So your child's temperament influences how your child learns. Another thing you need to know about your child's temperament is that it influences your child's self-regulations, that is emotional regulations or emotion controls. Not every child has the capacity or the ability to control their emotions. Some children, they are very, very impulsive. They are instantaneous, and it is not because they want to. It's because of how they are wired. So when you understand these things, you know to cut your children some slack. I see something going on social media quite a number of times where young children, toddlers, are given snack and told, okay, hold on, I'll be back to actually just hold on for a minute. Don't eat it. Mom will come back and then you eat it. Some children, before the parents will even say don't eat it, they would have eaten it. Why some can actually wait? You know, why some children, it is not because they have been taught. Some children just have the natural ability for self-discipline, to hold on, to delay gratification, why some don't have. Now, this is why I said every child has strengths, and how every child has a weakness or has weaknesses. So as a parent, if you understand your child's temperament, if you read the book Understanding Your Child, you will know exactly what strengths your child has according to your child's temperament and what weaknesses. We all know that self-discipline, emotions regulations, delay gratification is a major skill, is a survival skill, is a success skill, is more than ever before required in parenting these modern day children. We know that. So what do you want to do? You actually want to know your child who is not skilled emotionally, who cannot self-regulate. And what do you do when you know this child? You want to begin to help them nurture that skill they do not have. And in my parenting accountability community pack, we are going to look at different skills, how to nurture these individual skills in our children, especially when you have understood your child's temperament. You know, oh, my child has struggles with self-discipline. We want to actually nurture it in such a manner that they learn it. And now, another major thing you should know is that your child's temperament actually influences their coping ability, which is resilience, how they cope in the face of adversity. Temperament plays a great role. There are some people who something happens and they bounce back easily. There are some people who something happens, they do not easily bounce back. And of course, we know that the times resilience is a key skill we need to build in our children. And your child's temperament is a major influence on how resilient your child is. Now, this is another reason you need to know your child's temperament. When you know that your child has your child doesn't score much on resilience, then you want to deliberately begin to help them nurture resilience. And again, this is one of the things we are going to be doing in PAC, or rather we do in PAC. We have been doing about ourselves as a parent, because parenting, you are part of the parents and you are the parent, and then you have a child you are nurturing. So we have been empowering ourselves with skills, after which we empower our children with skills. So building these skills, talk about emotional regulations, talk about resilience. There are skills we are going to build in our children as we progress in the course of our class or our community. You want to join Parenting Accountability Community, really. If you're not a member, you sure want to join, because it is highly empowering. Now, as a parent, understanding your child's temperament is very important, because it provides insights into everything you need to know about your child. Talk about strengths, weaknesses, interests, simply majorly everything you need to know to help your child grow into the adult you need your child to be, or your child should be. So if you do not understand your child's temperament, please, dear parents, go and grab my book, Understanding Your Child, because the book is really, really empowering to help you with everything you need to know about your child's temperament. So how do you understand your child's temperament? Now, in my book, Understanding Your Child, I shared 9 different traits you should look out for in your young children. You want to know how much they score on the different skills. That way you can understand their temperament. So you actually want to grab the book, Understanding Your Child. So however, in this class, let me do a quick rundown of some of these traits. First of all, you want to watch them, the way they interact. The way they interact with the environment. By environments, I mean objects and people. Are they very active, or they are kind of calm? What do they always want to do? Do they want to build? Do they want to experiment? or excuse me, or they just want to relax, read, listen, and all of that? What are they likely going to do, or what are they more interested in? Now, one of the things that happens is parents always think their children are hyperactive. Oh my God, I always meet parents who think their children are very active. And I always say to them, you see, I thought so too. I thought my son was very active when he was small. Until he was in the midst of other children, I realized that, my son did not have the energy to match theirs. So I certainly knew that, this particular temperament trait is not my son. So you actually want to work with your child's school teacher. You ask, how active is your child? Your school teacher, who has very many children around, is likely going to be able to tell you that your child is not so active. Your child is actually the calm type. Your child is not so warm. They're not so receptive to change of seats. They're not so receptive to change of teacher, change of nannies. They are not so easily readily welcoming to the new boy that comes to their class, or change of something. They don't progress. They don't make progress. They don't transition from one position to another with excitement. Or they are ever ready. They are born ready. Just change up. They move in. They blend seamlessly. You wouldn't even know they are new here. You actually want to work with your child's teacher to understand these basic things, because they are what will help you understand your child's temperament. So what are they interested in? Is it a child who likes to stay all by himself or by herself? Or is it the one who is everywhere? Before you say Jack Robinson is here, is there, is there. So you want to understand how they interact, how they engage with everyone and the environment. That's the first thing you need to know. Another thing you need to pay attention to understand your child's temperament is their sensory preferences. Some children cannot cope where there is light. When there's too much light, they are crying. Now, for very many parents, they don't understand these things. For some children, certain clothes, they just, texture of clothes itch them. They just start feeling uncomfortable, or maybe the light is bright, or the place is bright, or the noise is too much, or somebody is just talking and the person has a kind of voice they're not comfortable with. For some children, they can go on and on crying, and because our parents are not magicians, they are not witches, they may not readily know why the child is crying. But there are some children that are really, really sensitive to some things: light, texture, noise, some of these things. So you need to pay attention to them. Like a typical sanguine child doesn't care, really. They are just the ones that anything goes, garbage in, garbage out for them. So they may even like it when the noise is loud. Yes, they are listening, they are curious, they are watching, And with bright lights, oh, they're excited. You see their eyes will light up because they love things like that. But a typical melancholic child, nah, we don't want to accept all of that. They are not just, it's not just their thing. So you want to pay attention to your child's sensory preferences. One of the ways to actually know your child's temperament. Another way to know your child's temperament is to pay attention to their attention span. Yes, I know that children have short attention span, but for some children, their attention span is shorter. Now you see them in the classroom. For teachers who are watching this, who are listening to me, you see them in the classroom. They cannot even stay half the time they are supposed to stay in the class. Why? Because they have short attention span. You tell them look up, and before you even finish saying look up, they are looking down. You know, you want to see pay attention to your child's attention span. You want to know if you give them something to do, how do they want to do it? How do they fare? Can they do something? Can they be on a task for a long period of time? You know, children, they have attention span. They have how long they should be on the task. For example, can your child stay that long, or your child will stay halfway, or stay quarter way, or stay some way? So you want to pay attention to your child's attention span. Now, another way for you to understand your child's temperament is by paying attention to how your child responds to routine. How does the child respond to routine? Does the child flow with it? They're happy with it? Oh, routine make them more productive. Or is your child the type that routine is a burden, is an obstacle? They just want to be impulsive. They want to do their thing by themselves. There are some children you make is it a roster? You make a chart for do this at this time, and they will follow it diligently. You know, you'll be wondering, why can't you just take initiative, tweak it, do this? I've seen cases of children where their parents actually ask them to do specific things, and even if it's not turning that way, they are still following it. It's not really, so for some, it's not because of fear of how their parents will react, but because they are just children like that who just follow instruction blindly. So you actually want to know your child. Is it the one who is able to follow routine, or the one who is impulsive, who wants to do things at their own time? Now, it's another way for you to understand your child's temperament. I hope this class has been helpful. Temperament is a whole lot, because after understanding your child's temperament, we also need to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and then you also need to understand how you can help them develop their strengths and how you can help them in the areas of their weaknesses too. Then you also need to understand, okay, coming from their temperament angle and the way, and so how do they learn? What can I do to help them? You also need to understand, how do I build connection with these children? Because one thing is for you to be trying to connect with your child. Another thing is for your child to be feeling connected. And your child's temperament determines how your child feels loved, how your child can actually feels connected, how your child can appreciate your efforts to build relationship with your child. Your child's temperament. Sometimes parents, you do things, you say, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I've tried all my best. It's one thing to actually try your best. It's another thing for your best to actually meet your child's needs, because everyone has a need. Now, understanding your child's temperament, which my book Understanding Your Child has come to simplify, will help you understand how to meet your child's needs, so that you can build connection with your child, to help you understand how your child learns, so that you can create your child's learning or teaching, your child learning environment, to be able to help him learn better. I hope this class was helpful. If it was helpful, do well to subscribe if you have not subscribed, share, like, leave a comment, drop your questions in the question section, in the comment section, and I'll be glad to take it. My name is Enimie Orebo. I'm always your go-to parent for anything and everything parenting. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.